And so this is a live event here on the TOS Today channel or Total OS Today channel. And I have a special guest, Rob Collins from Linux Quest. I believe Linux Quest was voted YouTuber of the Month back in last fall. So congratulations to you, Rob.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Excuse me. Great. And Mayank Tyagi, I hope I say that right. If I butcher it up, I apologize. He says hi. So hello back.
Hello.
So yeah, this is a late minute again live event. I'm so awful at scheduling, man. But anyway, I'm doing this because I've had comments in the past about people appreciate the heads up, but for the people who live outside the states, doing a show, 5:30, 6 p.m. It's too late overseas, Rob. So. I was going to call this the Time Zone podcast, but that doesn't make any sense. It's not a show about time zones per se, but it's for our time zone, other time zone friends. So that's why we are doing this, and this is Rob's very first live event. So everybody, I need like a clap track or a laugh track for you or something.
Well, I jumped on with, Sudo Reboot.
Yes.
He's got a Linux
Yeah,
channel,
yeah.
and he and I jumped on, but it wasn't live. We actually recorded in the background and then posted it later because I was chicken to do one live.
Okay. Well, you are not a chicken anymore. So Shakir Regalo says hello to me and you. Hello, Shakir.
Hello.
So once again, if you're just joining in or those coming in late, I don't know how many people will show up today. Like I said, giving a late notice is not the smartest thing. Although last time we had over 20 people or so, which was okay. So this is a live event. Eric Nardi, hey, he says hey. Tiagi says, oh, there it is, 11:30 p.m. Where are you from, if I may ask? So, yeah, this is a live event for our UK friends or friends living outside the US. Shakir says 6 right now. So you're like ahead of me about 4 hours. Well, that's not too bad, Shakir.
No, not too bad. We're both
Excellent.
Eastern time zone.
Yeah, I'm in Ohio, and you are from North
North
Carolina?
North Carolina. Yep.
Okay. Well, we do have Eric from the UK. Hey, so I'm
All
glad I
right.
called this the UK show. Tiagi from India. Wow, thanks for joining in.
Wow.
That is cool. So yeah, this show is for pretty much you guys who wanted to join in at a more human hour and not like 1 or 2 in the morning. So I thought today, and I have a confession to make. I told Rob, but I live in Ohio. It is springtime. And today it's sunny, blue sky, 70 degrees. I'm like, but I gave my word I would be here for you guys. And this is Rob's first live event, so I wanted him to join. So, and we have lots to talk about today. But if you guys would like to thank me for my efforts and would like to toss a tip, as it were, there's a little button at the bottom that's a dollar symbol. You can toss in a dollar or whatever you want. It's that super chat feature. And so if you would like to thank me for all my efforts, it would be greatly appreciated. Tiagi says, nice to meet you too. Thank you. We have MC Strap. Where is Spatry? That is a very good question. I don't know. I believe he's still in Florida. Shakir says, sorry, 6 meant on live, 6 person, now 8 person. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So we have a few here joining in today. So this is for you guys, for you in different time zones. So if you have any questions or suggestions about the channel, about Linux, Rob's channel is Linux Quest. Concerns about Linux, what's going on YouTube with the YouTube advertising mess. There was an announcement this past week about Ubuntu dropping Unity, which Ubuntu was my first love back in the GNOME 2 days. So Shakir says we missed Spatry. Okay, so Rob, I will monitor the comments. Tell us how you got channeled, how you started your channel.
Well, I had gotten into Linux back before Linux was as easy as it is today. And I'll date myself with this toss, but when I got into Linux, the way you obtained your distro was typically on the back of a magazine. From a Linux magazine, you would get a disk. Do you remember those days?
Yes.
And then, so I started to dabble in Linux back then, and the first distro that I tried was Mandriva Linux. And it was extremely difficult. Back then, you could work for hours just getting your Wi-Fi drivers to work, let alone your graphics card drivers. And you would spend hours upon hours. This was all before YouTube. And you would spend hours reading through the forums just to configure one particular setting a particular way. And the majority of it was done through the terminal back then because you didn't have a GUI for everything. So fast forward today, I kind of jumped back into Windows, and especially when Windows 7 came on the scene, I really, really, really enjoyed using Windows 7. It's and to this day is my favorite version of Windows. But so fast forward, Windows 10 or Windows 8 came on the scene, and I thought, hey, that looks interesting, but found out quickly it was not an operating system that I wanted to deal with. You were kind of living in two worlds between the tiled interface and the traditional Windows. So I started to look at Linux again. So it was really Windows 8 that brought me back. And I was blown away by the fact that, number one, there were so many distros to choose from.
Yeah.
And then all of these desktop options that you had. And with YouTube on the scene, I found that there's all these great people out there talking about Linux. There you go, such as yourself, Toss, talking about Linux, helping people to understand how it is you do what you do within Linux. And then the other thing that really did it for me is the cloud. So the cloud allowed me to do a lot of things that I felt like I was tied to early on, work related things. Now all of my contacts and my business data could be in the cloud. And so it now becomes operating system independent.
Okay.
So that allowed me to jump back in, and I got so excited about it. I thought, I've got to share this,
A couple comments. Shakira likes Rob and Rocco. That's Big Daddy. I forgot to mention. How can I forget Big Daddy? How you doing? That's his channel is Big Daddy. Duh. And Destination Linux. Shakir says awesome show. And yes, it is. Check it out. Eric says,
let's make a little announcement, Toss, if we could, about Destination Linux for those of you here chatting. We have a phenomenal guest coming up this Friday, and it is yours truly, Toss, had joined us. Yes. And so we have a great show, so look for the release on Friday with you yourself being our special guest.
I am humbled. It was fun. You guys will see and hear it. Rocco and Rob have a terrific rapport going. If you haven't seen the Destination Daddy, yeah.
Destination Linux.
Hey, there's your next show, Destination Daddy. Destination Linux podcast. Those two guys have a great chemistry thing going, and that's I think today with podcasts, that's rare to have the flow going and the chemistry and the rapport. I'll be honest, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts for whatever reasons. They're kind of boring, they're bland, they're too long. But I listen to yours, like when I get a chance, because you guys pretty much get to the point. Family-oriented show, and God knows we need more of those, I guess, here on YouTube based on what's going on. But yeah, check out Destination Linux with Rob and Big Daddy Rocco. So there's a plug for Big Daddy's channel.
Well, thank you, and especially this Friday, where you will be there doing a phenomenal job with us.
Wonderful. Let's see. I'm going back and forth with my head, just looking at the chat. So feel free to jump in, Rob, if something comes to mind.
Sure.
Let's see here. MC Strap, my introduction was Arch. Oh, you have my sympathies. That was your first one? Wow. I tried Manjaro based on Arch. I took the Manjaro challenge last year, and I tried and tried. The bugs got to me. What can I say? But I tried. I have lots of patience, but in the end, I'm sticking with Ubuntu-based or Debian-based. And, I have another confession to make because I'm calling this Linux Live UK show, and I'm running this in Windows 10. Hey, you know me, I'm a straight shooter because there are no updated drivers for my graphics cards. So random times, if I use Ubuntu or Linux Mint, my screen goes blank. It doesn't crash, just blank for a few seconds, completely blank, and comes back on. I can live with it. I have lots of patience, but I'm in a Windows 10. Hey, it works. What can I say?
You have to do what works, Toss.
Shakir says Gentoo and Ubuntu. My first approach to Linux. Well, Gentoo isn't Android based off of Gentoo? I think it is.
I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, Gentoo. Okay, so let's talk. So, Rob, you had an article that you wanted to share briefly about.
Well, I was just reading over where Chrome is now adding in a initial support for native Linux desktop notifications, and so I thought that was interesting. I think it's a good thing whenever we're getting support on the Google side. Personally, I'd love to see native support for Google Drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we've been hearing about for some time, but at least we're getting a little attention.
Wonderful. Yeah. Garth. Hello, Garth. Not Garth Brooks, but Chrome is based off of Gentoo. Garth, I think you are from the UK or somewhere. I forget. But yeah, we have now 11 viewers. So
Nice.
if you're joining in late, again, this is a late minute show. So don't be shy. Just say hello. And if hello is all you want to say, that's perfectly fine with me. Let's see here. Shakir says Chrome is no more to Garth. Oh. I use Chrome. I use Chromium. I guess Chromium is more privacy oriented. I don't know, man. Once you get on the web, does privacy even exist?
Your last live show, you guys had some excellent comments on the privacy side of things. And since then, I've started using Opera browser more and more because of the built-in VPN.
Okay, yeah, that's a good tip. Check out Opera browser for both Windows and Linux. And I believe that's just the toggle. I think you go in the settings under privacy or security and just
Yep.
toggle that on and off. So, I guess it works. And I
Yep.
believe that's the only browser. I didn't see that in Chrome or Chromium or right.
No,
I
I
think
haven't either.
okay. So yeah, VPN, virtual private network. Of course, the question is, if you use a VPN, who's to say the data on the VPN is not being shared or stolen or sold? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it could be funneling through Amsterdam, let's say, for example, and who's to say that that server or whatever in Amsterdam doesn't belong to someone who's doing nefarious things with it?
Or funneled in Russia, comrade. Eric says Opera US in version 44 now. Okay. Yeah, and I found Opera to be faster, considerably faster than Firefox. Not sure why,
Oh,
but
definitely.
yeah. Um,
I think it pre-caches quite a bit,
is that what it is? Okay.
I
Okay.
believe.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about, and I know when you upload that podcast Friday, we talked a little about Ubuntu dumping Unity. My first foray into Linux was Ubuntu about 10 years ago, 11. Again, it was in a magazine. There was an article that said if you're tired of Windows XP, back then it was Windows XP, try something called Ubuntu. Sure, why not? And at the time, I thought Ubuntu version 6 dot something, I thought it was really, really fast compared to Windows XP. But it wasn't quite ready for prime time. So, I dabbled for a few years, and back in 2009, 08, 09, I tried something called Linux Mint, and that was more user-friendly, quite a bit. And then in early 2010, it was 09, 2010, I jumped on something called YouTube, just searching for information, more knowledge about Linux. And the stuff back then, a lot of it just wasn't very quality-wise. If all you use is Windows, of course Windows is the best. If all you use is Linux, of course Linux is the best. But I wanted a Windows user to tell me, hey, sometimes Linux is best. So I did it. And I'm still doing it now, 7 years later. So do you do dual boot, Rob?
Well, I did for some time, and
Okay.
for the last 7 months, I've been exclusively Linux.
Wow.
However, that will probably change from a business perspective. I am probably going to be forced to use a Windows machine just for work.
Okay.
But for my own personal use, well, currently 100% Linux,
Excellent. I have
and
tried.
it's a great
Yeah.
feeling.
Garth says Ubuntu all over again, laughing out loud. Uh, I have tried to do 100% Linux, and as I told you, I mean, the issue with graphics, boy, I gotta tell you, graphics and Linux, that's just not a good marriage sometimes. But I've tried to do 100. I can't. I just can't. I call it as I see it. Now, for some, maybe like you, it's perfect, but for me, it's not. So I dual boot, but I will say about 60% Linux and 40% Windows. And considering the issues I have, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's the
that's not bad at all.
yeah.
I'm not a Windows hater. I'm not one of these Linux guys who just hates Windows. Uh, Microsoft does some things very well, I think.
Yeah. Um, let's see here. Garth says I've dropped the Windows until I get into work since 2014. Okay, cool. Garth, you use I forget what you use. What do you use? Arch, man. I can't remember. Tell me what you use as your Windows replacement. I'm kind of curious. All right, so let's talk. Garth uses Arch. Wow, how much of a learning curve was that, Garth? We have Carlos Chris from France.
Wow.
Hello. Great. Parlez-vous français? I think that means that you speak French. Of course you do. Duh. But Garth uses Arch. Okay, what made you pick Arch, Garth? Garth Arch. It sounds like a place to go visit. Visit Garth Arch in France. No,
The Archers of Garth.
the Arches of Garth. There we go. Chris from France. What do you use? Linux, Windows, and I think
Mandriva.
Mandriva from France. Or yeah. Chris says I speak French. Very good. I know just a few words. Sous le ciel, under the sky, or something like that. Great. We have people from France, India. It's great. So
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I have dear friends who live in Marseille and have visited them there in Marseille, and then we have dear friends who live just outside of Paris.
Ah,
It is a beautiful country to travel through for sure.
Chris from France says I'm using Ubuntu and OpenSUSE. OpenSUSE is different than Ubuntu. What made you pick OpenSUSE? I believe their package manager is completely different versus.
RPM versus.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious, Seuss, why you picked. Chris is from Marcel. Marcel. Very good.
Ah,
Excellent. So, oui, to the French. Yeah. Okay. Garth says it's not hard about Arch. It's not hard. It's just requires reading. It's fast and has the biggest repos. Okay. I also like using the command line in Arch. Okay. I'm not a. I mean, I use the command line. It's fine. I'm not a big fan of recommending command line to beginners. I don't want to scare them. But there's a reason why Arch was voted on my channel last year or year before the Linux distro of the year, or like whatever's based on Arch, and justifiably so because it is highly customizable and you can do a lot with it. Shakir says right now Fedora 25 LXDE. That's very lightweight.
wow.
Wow, of all, yeah. And he says he's a distro hopper, not as much regular on hopping. Okay, I was a major hopper. I think I beat out a lot of bunny rabbits on hopping, as it were, back in the day when making those bootable CDs and stuff like that. Like I must have threw away like 100 CDs, Of course, nowadays you can just use a USB stick and
I'm going to grab a visual for us.
okay. Fedora. I think I tried Fedora
Still on
once.
CD.
There we go. Okay, well, I use some CDs. Okay, sure. Okay, confess, how many people watching still use CDs? Now, be honest, I have no way to prove it. Anybody out there? Garrett says I bought a System 76. Okay, cool. I believe
Nice.
that's based out of U.S. somewhere, Colorado.
Yep.
I'm now using a computer built for Linux. It's an incredible machine. Okay.
I will say, Garth, that I understand your use of Arch. Once I started using the AUR, the Arch User Repository, anytime I switch to another distro, I immediately miss the AUR.
Okay. We have 3 people saying, I guess they use CDs. Only 3 out of 15. The rest of you are all liars. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Well, that's, yeah, when I first took the Manjaro challenge last year, Rob, I knew I was in trouble when I couldn't play a CD, like a music CD. And of course,
Oh,
one
yeah.
of my friends says, well, who uses CDs? That's not the point. We have Steve joining in. We have just me. I mean, not me, but him from Trinidad. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Excellent. He says, I guess it's a he. If it's a she, tell me. I'm sorry. I tried using Ubuntu and it freezes when it sleeps. Yeah, that can happen sometimes. I haven't tested Linux Mint in sleep mode or suspend. Maybe I should. Anyway, C128D says, I do. I burn at least 2 or 3 CDs or DVDs a week. Wow.
That's great.
C is the DVD CD master, it seems. Okay. Chris says, I'm using CDs. Okay, so everybody does. Yay.
So I don't feel so bad now that I still
No.
have CDs.
Yeah, well, they're still convenient. I just burned a music CD the other day because I still play CDs in my car. My radio doesn't have Bluetooth. Hopefully, my next radio will. So, yeah, we have quite a few people using CDs. MSC Strap, what GPU do you have? It's AMD. I forget. And speaking of graphics or hardware graphics, it seems like with Linux, and maybe Rob, you can say something like this. NVIDIA, in the past for me, NVIDIA seems to be a little bit more friendly.
Yes.
Okay, just as a general, anybody out there would agree or disagree. But graphics in general, when it comes to Linux, it is a hit and miss. Period. That right now. That has to be worse than printer compatibility in my tests, in my opinion. Garth says the AUR is incredible, but not only that, a lot of people use the wiki as well, no matter what distro they're on, because it is the most concise piece of information. Okay.
Great wiki, for sure.
C says, I support churches that need custom optical music and video discs for various. That makes sense, C, yeah. I never really thought about that. Well, there you go.
Toss, how long was your Manjaro challenge?
Last summer, 3 months, 4 months. It was a full install. That was the only way to be fair and to test it fully. The first installer crashed. I guess that was a warning sign, but I don't give up easily. For a Windows user, I'm very patient. So I got it to install. Seemed to be running fine. The speed was great, but the little things just got to me in the end, and I'm like, I was asked to be completely honest about it, and I
Good.
gave it up.
Let me ask you a question. So when you first had it installed and set up, did you find that in the first week or two it seemed to be very stable and just running really well?
Yes,
And
precisely.
then after like into week 3 and 4, maybe you had a few updates and then things seemed to go awry. And I've noticed that with Manjaro as well. Every time I install it, in fact, in my heart, I'm thinking this is the one I really want to run long term. And about
Yeah.
2 weeks into it, I'll start to have these weird little issues.
Exactly. I tried. I really tried. I had printer issues. Anyway, it wasn't for me. Eric says, do you guys remember Linus Torvalds ranting about NVIDIA? Yes, Linus gave NVIDIA the love finger. Love finger. Yes, it was so. Eric, I do. I can't really show it on my family. You can pick the most popular finger on your hand, and that's what he gave
I
NVIDIA.
thought that was the Hawaiian peace sign.
Ah, okay. I do. I guess Linus and NVIDIA don't get along, but I do remember that. I still say it's a crapshoot when it comes to graphics and Linux. C says my intro to Linux was Red Hat 3. Okay, took forever
Oh, wow.
took forever to download the floppy images over 56K phone. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shakir says, for newbie, I never say to use a raw Arch or even Arch niches.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend Arch for beginners. That would not be fair. Now, once you get seasoned, if you want to give it a try, I'm not. Manjaro is as close as I get.
Have you ever tried Toss Antergos?
Somebody mentioned it.
Antergos. I
Somebody
would give that a shot. That is
Okay.
my go-to if I get kind of tired of distro hopping.
Okay.
I'll always go back to Antergos or Antergos, however you prefer to say it.
Okay.
Give that a try one day. It gives you a choice of
Okay. All right.
desktops during the
I might.
install. So
I might give it a shot.
yeah,
Okay. All right. So I'm still looking at the comments here. Let's talk a little bit about Ubuntu. I know somebody said, "Here we go, Ubuntu again," but for a lot of people, probably their first distro may have been Ubuntu. So I have to give the team credit. I think Ubuntu started in 2004, 2005. So as some of you know, last week Ubuntu made an announcement to drop the Unity desktop. Back then when Unity came out along with GNOME 3, I had to pick one, and I picked the easier of the two in my opinion. So Ubuntu Unity I still have on my other machine, but apparently this whole deal with convergence did not work with Ubuntu Unity. So they are moving on to GNOME. Of course, what will GNOME look like? If it looks like GNOME 3 or GNOME Shell and figuring out add-ons and extensions, good luck. How do you see it, Rob?
no, I think you said it very well. I think they need to take it and make it their own, whether that is their own high quality extensions that are
Yeah.
proven out,
Okay. Yeah.
and really do something spectacular with it.
Michael says he dual Windows 10 and Arch. Wow. Talk about two completely opposites type of learning curves systems. Great. Michael, do you find Arch? How long did it take you to learn Arch, Michael, if I may ask? And do you still like it, or do you use it more than Windows 10, or not really? Just out of curiosity. Chris says, what do you think about Unity than another desktop? Unity is a choice. It's keyboard centric, at least it seems to be. Hit the Windows key and type to where you want to go, whether it's your Rhythm Box, Music app, or Firefox. So it's an option, it's a choice, and I would recommend it. Well, I guess it's going to be dropped by Ubuntu, but I probably still would recommend it for beginners. Shakir says Linux Mint goes with a newcomer if he or she is a Windows user. Yeah, I'm currently using Linux Mint now. Zorin was my go-to distro for beginners, but they switched to GNOME. I just don't like it. C says first Ubuntu October 2004. Okay, so yeah, for me it was a few years after. MC Strap, what is opinion on XFCE? It's easy. I don't use Ubuntu anymore. They kind of tick me off. I had installed Ubuntu something. Maybe it was the last LTS, I believe, and it was not ready for prime time because it was released with a serious bug in the file manager. And one day I was working and all my files, my documents, music gone.
Oh,
Luckily, I backed up 90%. And then I read about it, and it was released with that kind of a bug. I'm like, that's a no-no. Linux Mint, they release when it's ready, not necessarily on a schedule. And that's how it should be. But that's my experience with XFCE in general. Not to say that the other ones are going to be as disastrous as it was for me, but XFCE can be a choice for beginners. MC Strap. So my answer is yeah, possibly. But just be
yep.
careful. Look, if you're going to install Linux, make sure you read all of the release notes, all of them, because probably all of them have some kind of level of bugs. That was a biggie, and that really ticked me off.
That's a great thing to do for sure, Toss. That's great advice. And the other thing I recommend, if you're really serious about learning the distro, go into the forums. That they will all, I will say 99% of them will all have user forums. And there you can find out things about how well it may do with your graphics card,
Yeah,
or
great.
with your
Yeah.
particular hardware.
Okay. C says XFC is second best DE after Mate. I love Mate, Mate, Gnome too. Yeah, I fell in love with that the first time I saw it. Bart says KDE Neon. I think you messed with that, Rob. What do you use now for your Linux distro?
So right now I have Ubuntu GNOME 17.04
Okay.
because I wanted to go in and experiment with configurations and try to make it look like what I thought coming, once Unity's dropped, what it
Okay.
may look like. So I was having fun with it.
Okay. Yeah, those GNOME 3 extensions, when they work great. When they don't, I'm like, here we go again. I tested Ubuntu GNOME in a VM, and I found it to be faster than before. What do you
Okay.
think? Yeah. I was
Well, one
pleasantly
thing I would like
surprised.
to
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
I would like to know, are people out there looking forward to the soon to be released Ubuntu Mate 17.04? I know for one I am.
Question for you guys. Ubuntu Mate 17.04. I have that installed in a VM. I'm going to keep it. I'm still going to call Ubuntu Mate the gold standard for beginners. I stress for beginners, not the gold standard of Linux in general. Martin Wimpress, who you interviewed last week, and I spoke to him last year, I think, in an interview.
Hmm.
Terrific guy.
Great guy.
I don't know if I caught it in your podcast, but did he mention how why Ubuntu Mate was created?
Yes.
I call it the romantic OS. Did he mention that?
Yes, the reason it came about was for his family. So, like many of us, he is the go-to tech guy.
Okay.
And so everyone in his family, if they had a problem on Windows, they would call him. So he eventually switched everyone over to Ubuntu proper, I call it, with Unity. Well, he soon found that that wasn't the easiest, for everyone. So and plus, from a hardware standpoint, he wanted something a little lighter. So he went with
Okay.
the Mate desktop.
Okay.
And the one of the best parts of Ubuntu Mate is the software boutique.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that was because he wanted an easy way for his family members to be able to go in with one click and install the top software that they would probably wind up using anyway within Linux.
Well, I think he said his wife had tried a form of Linux. Maybe it was Unity. I can't remember. Martin, and if I mess it up, Martin, if you watch this, I apologize. But I believe his wife wasn't happy, so Martin, to make his wife happy, created Ubuntu Mate, Monte, the romantic
That's correct.
OS. Aw. I wonder if he created that on Valentine's Day. I'm just out of curiosity. But isn't that a
And
great?
there's
Yeah, yeah.
and they're still married today, so that says a lot about that particular distribution, wouldn't you say, Toss?
Well, it is called Mate. It's Mate, I guess. Not that I really, you know. In fact, he said, "You call it what you want, just use it and like it." But I think that's great. So, Martin, 2 thumbs up for the gold standard for
Yep.
Linux beginners. And I've been messing with Linux 10 years, so I hope people can find that statement trustworthy. Shakir says Mate is a great DE, like it. It is great. C says happy wife, happier life.
True. Very true.
All right, so Martin is an arch wizard. Oh, I did not know that. Did he mention arch in the podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, he did mention that he dabbled on the art side for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Wow, great, great.
But
Yeah,
he's a great guy too, just
okay.
in general. Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke, like I said, and great to talk, chat to, and he he deserves a lot of credit, and I have donated to Ubuntu Mate. So if you guys like it, give a small donation. So just go to the ubuntumate.org or something like that and
That's yep.
check it out. Happy
And I'd like to
wife,
add
yeah,
something.
life.
When you
Yeah.
donate, they also take some of those funds, and some of that money goes to developers from other distros. So, for
Mm,
example, Ike Doherty of the Solus project, he's been working on the Brisk menu, which is now available in Ubuntu Mate. And so, some of that money that you donate actually goes to help out Ike Doherty.
great. Absolutely. If you guys see something that you like, try and help support it. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. We got about 20 people. I guess that's great for a late minute announcement of the podcast. Let's go into what's happening on YouTube with the YouTuber advertising boycott. It's not really Linux news per se, but it affects everybody on YouTube, including Linux content creators. And this is really, really. I caught today where YouTube is probably going to lose $1 billion this year, up to in advertising, AdSense revenue. Now, I believe that's separate of sponsorships or brand revenue and multi-channel network MCNs and all, like whatever they're called. This is separate of that. But I guess this all started a reporter somewhere or someone caught a questionable content on YouTube. I don't know how to describe it, non-user friendly, and wrote an article and say, hey, ABC company, did you know that your ad is on that questionable content? And it just blossomed, I guess, from there. And I kind of knew something was up back in around 2014 or so, and then after that, I believe YouTube opened the YouTube partnership program to everybody. And I thought, man, the floodgates have opened, and it gave people opportunity, but it also opened the gates to a lot of, shall I say, questionable content, and that wasn't good. And now it's come to fruition, as it were, and it's really, really bad. And there's a YouTuber, I won't mention his name, but I like his stuff. I think it's fine. He has almost 1 million subs,
Wow.
and he's lost, I think he said up to 90% of his AdSense revenue, and he has almost 1 million people watching him. That's bad. So I
That's
don't know.
bad.
This year I think it will be fixed. It is a major it is a major bug in the system, as it were. And then we'll see what happens. I think it will be fixed. Something's going to have to get fine-tuned, like the system and the algorithm. But I think what YouTube is doing now is to monetize your videos, you need at least 10,000 views. And that'll help weed out the people who are just doing it for trolling or not really taking it seriously or just being, non-friendly. But where this goes from here, I don't really know. Rob, how do you see it?
Well, it's got to be a wake up call for YouTube, number one,
Yeah.
because you're talking about big names. We're talking about companies like GM and other, huge global companies. And when they start pulling their ad revenue, you take notice real quick. Um, I think in some regard, this will be a good thing because it had to happen sooner or later. Let's face it, there's some, just like within any other media format, there's good stuff, there's quality stuff, and then there's some just ridiculous garbage out there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're doing an ad for a child's product and it happens to show on something that is anti-children, let's say, for lack of better words, that's just a bad pairing,
Count
you
Zero.
know.
Hello, Count Zero. He says 10,000 views on the channel's lifetime. Yes. I didn't mean to say per video. It's yeah. Yeah. The Farron OS developer has joined in. Hello. He says, "Hey, yeah, how you doing?" Okay.
Hi,
Uh,
Farron.
yeah, 10,000 views lifetime. So, yeah, so a lot of these channels are being, I guess, demonetized, or I think a couple of your podcasts were dropped or demonetized, or a couple of videos, right,
Yeah,
Rob?
three of them actually within
Wow.
about like overnight, and we're not
Okay.
sure if someone actually flagged those, but we're a family podcast. So it was one with AJ Rising, and everybody knows AJ, and we were just discussing Linux, of course, and the
Yeah.
other Joe Risington from Late Night Linux podcast, and again, it would be a family episode. So we're still not sure, and the
Hmm.
upsetting thing there is you don't really get any details as to why. You
There's
get this
there's no
blanket
warning.
statement.
There's no warning. You can't appeal.
No,
U2 has a lot on their hands right now. I'm not here to blame any entity or anything specific, but they have a lot on their hands. I think they'll get it fixed eventually. I don't think it'll be this year. Maybe we may see some semblance of solution this year, but it's yeah.
Toss, we appealed, and they were put right back up.
Okay, so
But
it works. Okay.
it works. Yeah, it works. But the problem is we were limited to 15-minute videos after that.
Oh,
So let's say we wanted to upload the podcast with you as our guest, and we're beyond 15 minutes, so it's limiting.
how long is
So they
that?
still.
How long has that taken effect, Rob? I mean, how long?
Well, I haven't logged back in. I think we're good now. So
Okay.
it could have been, say, 24 hours.
Ah, okay.
Um,
Okay. Let's see here. Dank Means says when H3H3, that's another big channel, I guess, released a video about the Wall Street Journal. The evidence seemed about right. A YouTuber was hosting non-ad friendly video. Reporter said ads were showing. Down goes the ad revenue. Yeah, if I remember correctly, that YouTuber didn't have it monetized since September 2016. Yeah, I think the Washington Post ran something. I could be wrong about this. Uh, I spoke briefly about YouTube monetization, AdSense, and ad blockers, and somebody asked how to help, like a channel like mine or yours, or what can you do? And somebody mentioned YouTube Red. That's certainly a possibility. Normally, as far as channels go, for all channels, big or small, I mean, ways to help keep the channel running are going to be like Amazon, links, brand names, brand deals, selling products. I mean, I don't, sell T-shirts or books. There's nothing wrong with that. YouTube AdSense. I think there's something now called Super Chat on this, what we're doing in the live chat, and basically there's like a little dollar symbol there, and whoever donates whatever just to help out the channel, that comment gets put up to the top, kind of like a highlight link. And if anybody would like to help out today, please do. There's that. There's a call. There's of course Patreon, PayPal, and there's some other ways too. But I think with the way AdSense is now, it's definitely broken because the last time, I think 2013 is where the AdSense revenue peaked on my channel. That helps sustain the channel. It paid for the like what I had to do, and it's great. But since then, it's gone downhill, and now this year it's gone progressively worse. But I'm probably not the only one who's had to resort to other ways, you know. And as much as we don't like to talk about it, YouTube is a business. The Farron OS developer says the stream has super chat. For anyone who doesn't know what it is, click on the bank note below your comment writing. Yeah, thank you, Farron. This only became available. I think they started this last month or month before. I lost track, and it wasn't available on my channel. You needed at least 10,000 subs or some big number like that, uh, and then it became available. So if you have at least 1,000 subscribers, I think it's there. C says toss T-shirts and mouse pads. Don't know about the mouse pads. I've thought about T-shirts. I'll let you guys know. But if you'd like to help out today, just click the little banknote sign. Even $1 is all appreciated because it really does all add up. But the Toss T-shirts has, should I have like a TOS here or something? You know,
Yeah.
that might be something to look into. But the mouse pads, does I have another poll here? Does anybody use a mouse pad? I don't. Count Zero says most people use ad blocks too. Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
believe peer funding is better. Yeah. Patreon has been around, what, 3 years now? It's been fairly successful. I didn't take that seriously at first, but that is certainly an option because it's easy and it's something that is legit. So, sure. So if you guys want to help out, please do.
I'm thinking of your T-shirt toss. It have a TOS today. There you go.
If you make t-shirts, I want one. Hey, oh man, you guys are giving me ideas. Spreadshirt maybe for the spreadshirt maybe for the t-shirts. I'll spread the word. All right, let's go into so we've talked about Ubuntu Unity, we talked about helping out channel or channels, and the YouTube crisis this year, and that's certainly not something that will go away. I came across an article. Dank means have a terms of service today. TOS, haha. Right, I never thought about it. Yeah, that wouldn't really sell terms of service. No, that sounds very unfriendly. Uh, Hang on one sec. Okay, okay, Rob, you still there?
I am.
Okay,
Yep.
just wanted to make sure. Okay, where was? Okay, so I came across an article, and I forget where I got this from. You can just do a Google. I just copy and pasted a few things here. The article states why users are keeping Linux from gaining market share. Rob, it's all your fault. No, I'm just kidding. That's what this says. Obviously, I don't agree with it. I won't go into the complete, it's quite a bit here. But the article says because users not adopting Linux, I guess the Linux desktop, there's a problem with the Linux desktop not gaining market share. And he says, well, the days of hardware compatibility is not a problem. Those are gone, those days, because you can just pop in a live USB or CD and you can tell right away if it's compatible. Really? My graphics, which doesn't work right, or my printer had to set up? I don't think it works. I mean, you guys who are power users like Arch, if I have it wrong, you tell me. But there are hardware and software problems. So he talks about that, talks about the live distro, specific software that you have to use should not be a problem. Well, gee, I don't know. One of my podcast partners, Stephanie Forian, I'll give her a plug, stephanieforian.bandcamp.com, great singer-songwriter. She asked to use Mac. She even tried Windows and it didn't work out. So does this apply to her because she can't use Linux and it's her fault? I don't think so. There was something here. Let's see here. Yes, user-friendly Linux has a name, Apple. Okay. Without users, Linux will never grow. Advanced users are not the majority. Rob, how do you see? I mean, I won't go into the rest of this. I don't want to trash talk this article. I just don't agree with it. So,
Well, it sounds to me like that's a little bit of a link bait article, just trying to drum up discussion and get the article some clicks because it's a little, that's just, I don't know, it's link baitish to me. And for someone to say that, hey, you pop in a live CD and then you just know that it's either going to work or not, I don't agree with that either. The desktop in general, desktop use in general across all operating systems is lower now than it once was simply because of tablets and phones.
yes.
And the ability to do so much of what you used to rely
Right.
solely on a
Right.
PC or laptop for.
I totally agree. Eric says toss in England means something else. If it's not good, I don't want to know. If you want to give me a hint, that's fine, Eric, but I have no idea what that means. Like toss it out? I don't know. Don't use Linux Lounge. Hello, Linux Lounge. A great name, by the way, the Linux
That
Lounge.
is.
Yeah,
I'm
I should have.
relaxed. I'm
Yeah,
relaxed just hearing that.
I should have called this the Linux Lounge podcast. Hey,
Lean
don't,
back.
Lee, that's right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Thanks, Linux Lounge. Hey, pass the cannolis. Come on. No, but he says don't diss Mac guys. The hardware sucks, but don't use Mac, I guess. But the software is awesome. I don't know. A lot of professional YouTubers use Mac. It's got to be
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yep.
Farron OS says I actually bothered to get Windows 7 working on a Windows 10 machine. Okay, even though I ended up needing to get every driver after installation. Okay,
Oh, I've been
Mac.
down that route.
Okay, Mac OS has good concepts such as network recovery. Okay, and boot menu, which actually gets a recovery image off the internet and boots into it. Okay, I guess that's good. Chris says I hate Windows because it's so intrusive. Okay, we've talked about privacy. That while that may be true with the telemetry, a code word for we're taking your data. Once you get on the web, guys, all bets are off. I don't care what you use. Just Alex. Hello, Just Alex. Linux is awesome. I agree. At least some of it is. Rob, we're up to 25 viewers now. It's growing.
Wow.
So if you want to go a little longer or if you need to go, I mean, I'm cool for another 10 minutes or so.
No, this is fun,
Okay.
Toss.
I was not expecting these many people. Thank you. If you haven't already, I would like to plug again Rob Collins, the channel, Linux Quest. Big Daddy, Rocco. His channel is not about Big Daddies. It's about Linux, right?
Yes.
Okay. So check out those channels. Subscribe. I don't know if you guys have set up Patreon or PayPal, but if you have, make sure you could at least, okay. So Linux Lounge says I actually own an old iMac, bought on eBay for less than 100 euros.
Great deal.
Hackintosh. I'm a Hackintosh. Tosh. Hackintosh. No, Hackintosh my desktop at some point. I've never tried Hackintosh. Does it work?
I tried it some time ago and was semi-successful.
Okay. I don't know, guys. Anybody else? I've heard of it. Have not tried it. One of these days, I know I've had requests in the past. Don't forget us Mac users. I got to buy a Mac to test it. I'll be happy to once I get enough funding for it. But okay, I'm not a fan of Hackintosh and dual booting. Okay, Shakir. Yeah, for me, dual booting seems to be the best of both worlds because both works usually. Just Alex says I dual booted Windows 10 to Ubuntu 16.10, and 2 days later could not boot Ubuntu anymore. Oh man. Well, 16.10 is not an LTS support release, so I would recommend sticking with LTS releases. If you can't boot into Ubuntu, I'm not sure what happened. Something with Grub.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Let's see here. Dank Meme says I'd rather use an operating system with less market share than one that has all of it. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Well, I guess you have choices nowadays. When you go to Distro Watch, there's like 100 distros there, right? And those are the ones that are not offshoots or forks. So I made a joke. Everything gets forked up after a while.
Spun off or forked up.
Yeah, right. Links Lounge says I wouldn't recommend Hackintosh to anyone who isn't willing to troubleshoot. Okay. Shakir, I have a different driver for a different OS and no more dual booting. Okay. So very few people here dual boot. Alex, what do you think about Ubuntu shifting to GNOME? I think it kind of sucks, mate. Haha. Is that a pun? I'll give you my thoughts and Rob chime in. It's not GNOME 3, GNOME Shell. To me, it's not for beginners. Back then, years ago, I had to choose between Ubuntu or Unity and GNOME, and I just chose Unity. I don't think GNOME SUCKS per se, but it's not my choice. Too much tweaking involved, although it's gotten better. The last Ubuntu GNOME I tested, it seems it's getting better. Is it there for beginners? I'd have to long-term test it. I will say no for now, but Rob, how do you see Ubuntu switching to GNOME?
If I think Gnome's at a level that if they do it right, if Canonical puts some resources behind their own extensions to create a very user-friendly interface, which is not too difficult. I mean, you can load up your own extensions now in a matter of 30 minutes or less and have it very, very usable. Okay. In fact, you can have it much like the Mate desktop, believe it or not.
Cool.
So
great. Just Alex says, I am 12, so I want to think about what adults think about this. You're a smart kid. Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex, yeah. Linux Lounge, I don't dual boot. I find it to be annoying that you have to reboot to do different. I mean, it works for me, yeah. Dank Memes, I'd rather Unity than GNOME if I had to choose. Eric says Rob is awesome. Da, 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 da. Yes, he
Thank
is.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Linux Lounge, I love Unity, and I'm sad to see it go. Well, I think it's going to be quote forked, right, or someone else, right? Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah. Farron OS developer says, "Cool, you're near my generation." Just Alex, okay. Dank Memes at Linux Lounge. Time to fork it then.
Hey, I would like to ask Farron what he's got going on. You know, Farron's got his own distro. I don't know if you're aware of that, Toss.
No, I don't think I was. Okay.
Yeah, so would like to ask him if he's got anything new releasing soon, anything I need to check out or put on the channel.
We have, yeah, so there's your question, Fair. We have Amin Zirhuni. I hope I say that right. Forgive me if I don't. Plasma 5 for me, he says. Great. Farron says unity8.org, a Unity 8 fork. Okay. Chris says Plasma 5 on Tumbleweed. Have you tested Tumbleweed? That's open source, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
Okay.
and it's very nice.
Okay.
Yes, I have. Got a couple videos on it.
Shakir says Farron OS 2017.0. Farron
Okay.
says KD has a half good Unity looking theme pack. Okay. Dank says Unity or Plasma hands down. Okay, hands
I'm a
down.
huge KDE Plasma fan right here. I think they're doing phenomenal work. I think you're going to see a lot more out of the QT side of things too, Toss.
Okay. Alex says I was actually criticized. I was actually criticized for using Linux at school before I found where some of the people made fun of me, and I found out you found where they lived. Be nice. Alex, why would they make fun of you to try something new? Eric says,
That's
"Can you?"
because
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, Rob.
no, I was just going to say that's because they were jealous.
That's right, Alex. So you do your thing and show them. Eric says, "Can you recommend a boot commander manager for multiple booting?" I don't know, Rob.
Uh, if he hadn't have asked me that question, I could have thought of the name. There is, maybe it'll come to me, but
Okay.
there is one in particular for multiple booting.
Okay.
It's just that Toss, I've forgotten more than I remember.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's see here. Farron says, "Oh, and after all, RC, well, 2017 stable, okay." Garth says, "Plasma is developing much faster than anyone else." Oh, okay. Dank says, for just Alex, "Use Linux at my school and you would get suspended for hacking because you're so paranoid." Okay, of me? Okay. I don't know how many schools actually would or have used Linux. There was a report, was it last year, about a school trying to switch to Linux? I can't remember. I thought I came across that. Yeah.
Yeah, seemed to be.
Okay. Alex says Linux is not used around where I live, so I decided to revenge. Revenge feels sweet. Okay. Keep it going, Alex. Use what works. Yeah, yeah. And if you customize it, like with the compiz and stuff, and show them the cube, the Linux cube, they're gonna be going, "Wow, man, look at that." Shakir says,
So maybe
"You were-"
this is,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going, maybe this is a good time to let folks know that you're going to be our guest this Friday on Destination Linux podcast.
So check it out. It was a pleasure doing it. Yeah, it was
We
great
had a
to
great
have.
time.
It was great to have the other New Yorker on the show, Rocco. See what I'm
And
saying?
poor me from the South, not understanding what you guys were talking about or what you meant.
Well, we'll let you slide this time, but not. Gar says I use Linux in the science industry. Well, Linux has a lot of science in it. Amin says lots of schools use Chrome OS now. Amin, if I may ask, where are you from? I think that's great. Chrome OS, okay. Linux Lounge to Alex. Linux is hardly used anywhere, to be fair. Usually it's just single users. I guess that all depends where you're at, yeah. Dank says school uses Chrome OS. Oh, / never ready. Chris says I propose Emma Buntus at many schools in France. Emma Buntus. What's Emma Buntus? Amin says Michigan. Okay, cool. Alex says I requested my school to use Linux, but the response was, "I think we should use Temple OS." I don't know what that is. Is that for real or a joke, Alex? Linux Lounge love Chrome OS as well. Okay, it's a specific distro in France. Okay, I think he means Edubuntu. Okay, Temple OS. Shakir says better try Tiny Core. Haven't I tried that?
I haven't either.
Okay, Temple OS is real. What's it based on, Alex? I haven't heard of that. Rob, have you heard about Temple OS?
I have not. No.
Boy, there's so many out there. At one time there was a Hannah Montana OS.
Yeah,
I
I know.
thought to myself, why not Tony Montana, man?
Tony Montana OS. That would
OS.
be something. Yeah.
Yes. You- Say hello to my little friend OS. Yeah, right.
You do a
Uh,
good job of that, by the way.
Say hello to my little friend. You see what I'm saying, man? Eric says, will this blog be available to watch? Oh, you mean the video? Yeah, once we're done recording, it should finish processing and yeah, I don't think I will edit this. So yeah, once we're done, you can. If you missed anything, yeah, a lot of comments here. 26 viewers. Wow, Rob, you are one popular guy. Let me tell you.
Oh, it's all you, Toss. It's all you.
All right, let's see here. Chris says, "Okay, guys, it's time to go." Thank you, Chris, for joining in from France. Francais, very
Take care,
good.
Chris.
Take care. Please join us again. Thank you.
Bonjour. Au revoir.
Bonjour. FerrinOS says yes. Linux Mint to FerrinOS stable. What's FerrinOS look like?
Oh,
What
it's
does it do?
beautiful. Yeah, it's
Okay.
beautiful.
Okay.
He's done a very nice job with all the theming and everything.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Ferrin says preparing imminent upload. Chris says
All right.
merci beaucoup.
And the I think the reply to that is Dakar or something like that. My French is terrible.
Okay. There, I was thinking of that song before. It's called Sous les ciels de Paris, under the French sky, or under the sky of France. That's
Ah,
why it's a song on YouTube which I like. Is Sous les ciels de Paris. I think I said it right. Anyway, just Alex, I subbed to you. Great. Yeah, I will check out your channel. Also check out Rob and Big Daddy's and Destination Linux. So thank you,
thank
Alex. Thank you. Um, Chris says in English, thank you very much. Okay, wonderful. All right, so keep posting your comments. I'll try to get to those as many as I can. We still have 25 viewers on. Great. So we'll do this a few more minutes or so. I do want to go out and catch some sun. It's beautiful here in Ohio. So Alex says he just subbed to you, Rob. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Okay, so you mentioned the Destination Linux. That's normally you upload every Friday?
Typically,
Okay.
well, in the past we have been uploading on Fridays, but
Okay.
after your release, which will be this Friday, we're going to
Yeah.
change that to Mondays.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I put a wrench in the system.
No, no, it was great. Actually, you helped us out, Toss. You didn't even know it, but you helped us out
You see what I'm saying, eh?
without
Uh,
even trying. Without even trying, you're
Not
helpful.
even trying. That's right. That's right. Tony Montana will do anything, man. Linux Lounge says quite nice over here in the UK. And do you know what UK stands for, Rob?
United Kingdom.
Ubuntu Kingdom. Come on,
Oh, I
come
should have
on,
guessed. Very good.
get with the program here.
I'm
Come
slow,
on.
Toss. I'm
Gee,
slow.
let me tell you, boy. Come on, guys. You didn't even come on. Well, since Just Me says Cloud Ready is like Chrome OS. Okay.
All right, that I'm familiar with. Yeah,
Okay.
Cloud. Yeah.
Dank says raining over here in Cape Breton. Breton. Where's that at? Cape Breton? Breton? I don't know. I've heard of Cape Cod.
Yep.
Okay, since we're having fun with some nonsense here, Cloud Ready basically is Chrome OS. Okay, all right. I have a few nonsense articles here. I normally do these. I've been doing these once a week with Stephanie Forian, singer-songwriter. She's from Boston. Now she's in Munich, Germany, and she's preparing her second or her next full-length album. I think it's called The Living Album, and she writes everything herself. I think she's written like 250 songs, so she has to pick and choose. And if you go to her channel, guys, she's asking for your help to pick and choose the songs that you like to be on her next album, which I think is great. That way you can connect with her, subscribe. She has a Patreon page. Now her Patreon page, there's like different tiers or different levels. Now because she sells her music, you can, help support and donate to her, and she'll give you some exclusives as far as the music goes. So go ahead and check out stephanieforian.bandcamp.com and subscribe to her too. Anyone here remember Spatry? I was reminded by him mentioning news and nonsense. As far as I know, he's still around. Somebody said he's doing subs in an undisclosed location or something. Somebody mentioned early. Spatry made me see how bad Pear OS 8 was. I think I remember that. I think he said that was the Linux that fell off the tree or something. I don't know. FerrinOS says sudo reboot. Where are you? Maybe he's busy rebooting. Haha. I don't know.
Yeah. Haven't seen Sudo in a while.
OMG Ubuntu has uploaded a new article about Mark discussing the future of Ubuntu. Okay, we'll have to check that out. Okay, so just a couple of news nonsense, just real quick. Rob, here in Ohio, we have issue with cell phone service being spotty. Is that an issue in North Carolina, here with the hills and the trees? Is that an issue there?
Yes. Yes.
Well, these are all real headlines. Canadian police searching for stolen cell phone tower.
No way.
Google it. These are all real because truth is stranger than fiction. Now, I know this has nothing to do with Linux, but I just have to toss this in for fun, right? Yeah. Apparently, the tower was dismantled to put on a truck. So you have trouble with coverage? No problem. Get your own tower. But this is true.
The world we live in.
Yeah, really. Okay, this is and why anybody. This is another one. And why anybody would want to steal $45,000 worth of lettuce.
What?
Do a search, unless it's a fake news. But somebody stole lettuce, and the police were having pun with it. Pun, like what I do in my news and nonsense. The police issue. Dak Beep says, "Please tell me how you can steal a damn cell phone tower." Well, if there's no alarm on it, you have
A couple of hydraulic jacks.
a couple hydraulic jacks, a flatbed truck. If you have the tools, it's probably not that difficult. I don't know.
You know what I'm thinking of here, Toss? I'm thinking there's some guy who's like, I can only use my cell phone if I walk outside my house and walk up the hill. And
Right,
he's
right.
thinking to himself, well, if I could get that tower just 25 feet closer to the house, I'm good.
Yeah, how they stole it, that took a lot of guts, as it were. But now they probably have great cell phone service. That's all that I can tell you. We have Ski Meister. Hello. He says, Rob, that was a great interview you did with Marty. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Very
very
good.
much. We enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. Keep typing in your comments. I'll try to go back and forth here. Okay.
So the lettuce, you said how many heads
Oh
of
yeah.
lettuce there, Toss?
It was $45,000 worth. And now the police issued a statement, a pun. Romaine, calm. Let us find the thieves. Oh,
But how do
oh.
you move? How do you move $45,000 worth of lettuce? Where do you go to get rid of that?
But the question, true. But why would you steal? Because it was easy to steal.
Maybe. Or you're
Um,
wanting to make the world's largest salad.
I guess he's on a diet. I don't know what to tell you. So, what else do we have? Is Rob related to Joe Collins? I don't think you are, right?
No, we're not.
Okay, all right.
As a matter of
Okay.
fact, I got that question this morning. We're not
Oh.
related at all that I'm aware of.
Okay. And my last news and nonsense, I should have had more. And I saw the video of this. This is like a closed circuit TV. Florida police officer flees from mouse in CCTV footage. There's the camera facing like from the corner, like down, like this. And he's walking, he's got papers. He sees the mouse, he's got the paper, sees the mouse. He goes, ah, and he starts running away. Oh, those treacherous mice, let me tell you. Check that out. That was kind of fun. Hey, police are human too, right? So
That's
yeah.
right.
So that was my last of the news and nonsense. Okay. I guess a few more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. Linux Lounge has quite some diet. Yeah, $45,000 worth of lettuce is quite a diet. Yeah. LL, that's what I'm talking about. He's been burnout stage. I guess talking about Spatry. Is he burned out? I don't know. I hope he's okay. He does a lot with Linux. Really, really into like 24/7.
Wow.
Linux Lounge says, I've been thinking about rebranding the channel Kyle's Linux Lounge. Become the next Spatry. Well, don't become the next burnout. Shakir says, both looks and sounds familiar, Joe and Rob. Sounds like a cartoon. Hi, guys. Welcome to Joe and Rob. Joe and Rob. How many computers do you have, Rob?
So currently I have two in front of me. I have an old system that's sitting in a box,
Okay.
no longer used, and then I have the family computer.
Okay.
Now that excludes my wife and daughter's laptops.
Okay. Linux Lounge says, reminds you of people who eat a load of healthy food and think they're healthy doing so. Well, it all comes down to portions. You can have what you want. But if you have like a cheesecake, don't eat the whole cheesecake. like me, you know.
What? You're not supposed to do that, Toss?
Oh, come on. Maybe around Thanksgiving and the holidays. Boy, ain't that the worst time to try and go on a diet or to try and trim? Oh,
Well, here in
man.
the South, we're known to fry everything, of course, and there's actually a place where you can go and not far from where I live and get deep fried cheesecake or deep fried ice cream.
Okay, should I ask how it tastes?
It's delicious. It's
Really?
incredible. It's incredible.
There you go, guys. C says, I'm down to 18 computers at the moment. That's a good diet.
18 computers. There's a man after my own heart right there.
Sudo Reboot has joined. He says, hello, girls. Hello,
Sudo!
Sudo. What's up? Linux Help Guy. Which Linux Help Guy? I've lost track. He says, evening all. Linux Lounge says, you beat me to C120. Okay. C128 says, deep fried Twinkies.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Must be a southern thing. Uh,
Listen, we'll eat anything in the South if it's deep fried. It doesn't matter.
Evidently so. FernOS, welcome Sudo Reboot to the FernOS and Tostoday stream. Sure, why not? Linux Help Guy is Garden Shed Tech. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been to that channel. Yeah.
Because Help Guy, wasn't he ICOS? Then I lost track. It's the English Bob.
English Bob, yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Garden Shed. Do you do a lot of gardening stuff? I'm just going by the title, you know. Probably not.
It's a fun channel. It's a good channel.
Okay. Shakir says, we know at Linux Help Guy. Okay, now we do know. Let's give this another 5 minutes. We'll wrap this up. If you guys have late minute questions, comments, what's going on with YouTube, Linux, or Ubuntu?
Real quick, I'd like to ask Sudo what he thinks about Unity being dropped from Ubuntu.
There you go, Sudo. The stage is yours. Dank Memes has 4 computers, laptop, desktop, 2 Raspberry Pis. Okay.
Hey.
English Bob is a great Linux YouTuber. English Bob, love his stuff. It's good. He is quite a character. Have you seen some of his rants?
Oh yeah.
There was one that says Linux sucks or something like that. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Another good show to watch too, from the humorous side, is Linux and Other Stuff. I believe you've met Dave or chatted with Dave before.
I think so. Yeah. What part of the world are you in, Toss? Some part of Ohio. Yes, I am in Dean Martin Country, Steubenville, Ohio. I'm actually close to the Ohio River. So see, that is where I'm at. Oh.
And I'm in the western part of North Carolina, about an hour from Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina, where they fry them grits and ice cream. It is weird. That is some weird stuff, man. Yeah, you'll never see Tony Montana down in North Carolina, man, no.
That's right.
We have Dennis Hosik installed mint. Hello, Dennis. I think you joined in the last show when I had Stephanie on, so welcome aboard. Linux Lounge, Linux YouTubers, video, 5 reasons why Linux is best, video 2, Linux SUCKS, and I switched back to Windows, okay?
That'll get some views for sure.
Just Alex, are you streaming from Linux or Windows? Well, normally Linux, but I'm doing Windows now because we talked about in and outs of graphics, video drivers in Linux. I'm using Windows 10 now, and no blue screen and nothing popped up that I have an update. Thank you, Windows. All right.
Bill Gates is smiling right now.
Yes, he is. Linux Lounge says I was at an anime con the other day, and had fried curry wrap. What is that? Oh,
wow.
Fried curry wrap. Okay. Aaron Fernier, hello. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I've been there multiple times.
C says I grew up about an hour west of Dayton. Okay. Linux Lounge says I made the 5 reasons to switch to Linux. Now we wait. You wait till you crash, then you switch back. Wasn't Joe Collins has a great channel.
Yes.
Didn't he say, I'm done distro hopping, I found it's Manjaro and this and that, it's great. Then I had to type in, this won't last long, and then next week he had to try something else. But check out his channel. I'm making fun, but no, it's a great channel and challenge, I guess. But
that happens to us all. So Sudo, for example, was really big on Peppermint OS. He and English Bob both were, and then for the longest time, Sudo was on Peppermint, and then he had just some kind of bizarre issues, I think, and has switched, and he's been quite the distro hopper since then, I believe.
Okay.
But I think we all go through that at some
Yeah.
point. You did yourself, Toss.
Oh, 100 CDs worth. Shakir says 25 years of Linux, 5 reasons to switch to Linux. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, Dank means you're from Nova Scotia. Wow. Cape Breton, Nova. Wow,
Wow.
that's awesome. Great place for scenery, but we don't like change. Okay. Farron OS, English Bob hates wind blows, Ted. Okay. It broke for him because of an update. I haven't had anything break because of an update. I don't like the update process. English Bob got me on peppermint. Okay, I got a notification here. James says I switched and I am so much less stressed out using Linux. Wonderful.
That
I
is great.
can't even begin to explain how much easier, much faster, much simpler. I think it's great. Everything is on Fedora. Okay, all right. Linux help guy. Oh dear. Okay. All right. Where are we at here? Windows MC Strap says Windows 10 bricked my system. No.
Mm.
I will say one last thing here. 2 days ago, I had my first blue screen of you know what in Windows 10. I mean, in Windows since 2009,
Wow.
actually. I don't know what it could have been an app, like a buggy app, but I rebooted. It's fine. So my very first blue screen in over 8 years.
Wow. It's a pretty good record.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'll give credit where credit is due. Did you see last year, Rob, there was a live weather report, and as she's talking on her green screen, whatever, oh, look, there's a Windows Date update. It just popped.
Yeah. Hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh, Windows team, what are you thinking?
Well, Toss, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I know you're
I,
close to
yeah,
ending the show.
yeah, I
So thank
am. Yeah, we get more comments, but this was fun. Over an hour and 20 minutes is great. Thank you to all of
Appreciate
you who
it.
joined in. Check out Rob's channel again, Linux Quest, Destination Linux, Big Daddy, and the rest.
Thank you.
And it's been fun. I'll stick around for a few more minutes. I keep saying a few more minutes, but we still have people following. So, Rob, if you need to go, that's fine.
All right. Hope
Uh,
everyone has a great day. We'll check you later, Toss. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.